Here is our top 10 best strength training podcast list. Now, to set the table right off the bat, here's some criteria that we looked at to come up with this list. Factual knowledge. Can you learn something while you're listening to these shows? Humor. Maybe you're going to pee your pants a little bit each episode. Audio quality. Is it recorded into a tin can? Or maybe something a little bit better? Production value. Is there a video version to go along with each episode? Or maybe some supporting articles? What else they got? Guests. Do they bring in people that know a thing or two about a thing or two? People you actually want to listen to? And consistency. This is the big one. Are they putting this show out once a week? Once a month? Once who the hell knows when you're ever going to hear it again? Now jumping right into our top 10 list of podcasts. And these are in no particular order. There's just 10 of them here. First one, the Stronger by Science podcast. If you like dry humor, an in-depth scientific training and nutrition research analysis, this podcast is definitely your final destination. The host, Eric Trexler, graciously allows temporary guest host Greg Nuckols to continue to come back each episode. For now. But in all seriousness, these two, they really know their stuff. It's weird how they can actually cover topics that might appear to be a little bit boring to us non-nerds on the surface, then turn them into entertaining, educational, and humorous podcast episodes. Number 2 on our list is Two White Lights. Two White Lights has become the unofficial official podcast of the USAPL and IPF. They cover the sport of powerlifting, much like ESPN covers the big sports. They break down all the big meets and tested powerlifting, and they interview all the top lifters. They love to serve up their hot takes, so they say. You need to check this one out if you compete in the USAPL or if you're just passionate about powerlifting. Number 3 on the list, of course, the Massonomics podcast. If you thought we weren't going to include ourselves in our own podcast list, then you thought wrong, muchacho. Our show has been dubbed as the lifting podcast about nothing. We've been releasing episodes now in audio and full video every single week for over 7.5 years. We cover the latest in the world of powerlifting and strongman, but don't come to us for our expertise. Come to us to hear our realistic and usually kind of humorous, goofy takes on the lifting world. Fans like us for our over-under segment, expensive lift shorts, our passion for things like LaCroix, McDonald's, and Taco John's. Join Tommy and myself, Tanner, each week as we navigate through the strength world and really as we navigate through all the bullshit that we can throw at each other. Now, number 4 on the list is the Let's Get Stupid podcast. This is the podcast for all you hardworking, beer-drinking, heavyweight lifting alphas out there. The hosts Tom Callis and Huck Finn walk you through their lives of lifting, beer drinking, business. If you tune into this show long enough, you'll start to feel like you're just one of their buddies. Okay, bye. Number 5 on the list is Table Talk with Dave Tate. With over 30 years of experience in powerlifting, there's not much that Dave Tate hasn't seen or done. He pulls from his experiences at Westside Barbell, his experiences running one of the most recognized companies in the sport. Dave Tate is no bullshit, and his show's the same way. He does a great job of answering questions from his audience, so if you've got a question for Dave, hit him up. Number 6 on the list is the Shaw Strength Podcast. Get your strongman fix from one of the greatest ever to compete in the sport. Big Brian brings in the who's who of strongman to sit with him and chat about all their experiences. He dives into the mindset and mentality behind what it takes to be the best. This podcast is at its best when Brian and his buddies, they're just sitting around there ball busting the way that only real buddies do. Number 7 on the list is the Stay Hated podcast. The host is Anthony Oliveira, and through consistency, expertise, and an inclusive approach, he has turned this show into the go-to podcast for everyone that's passionate about multiply powerlifting. His show is like a Circa Max right in your ear holes. He has also done a great job exploring areas outside of just multiply powerlifting. He dives into the other strength disciplines, music, and life. Number 8 on the list is 50% Facts. Silent Mike and Jim McD are reunited, and it feels so good. They worked together on the Powercast for several years, which no longer exists, so it's great to see them back in action with this. They have a really fun mix of guests, relevant documentary reviews, and opinions on the fitness industry. Jim and Mike operate their own gym and have been podcasting together now for over 10 plus years. So they have a lot of real life industry experience that makes for a really interesting listen. Number 9 on the list is the Starting Strength Radio podcast. Love him or hate him, Mark Ripto has become a household name in the strength training world. Words used to describe Mark include curmudgeon, sourpuss, crank, old trout, and grumpy bastard. Words used to describe his podcast: opinionated, humorous, educational, Tune in to listen to Mark explain the basic principles of getting stronger in a way that most anyone can understand. Also, tune in to listen to him yell at you if you have different viewpoints than him. His Comments from the Haters portion of the show is as good of a podcast segment as you will find. Number 10 on the list, Iron Culture. Omar Isuf and Eric Helms host Iron Culture. These two have an awesome chemistry. They have developed a format where they are able to have a lot of fun, but still deliver content that packs real information into it. They feature guests that are at the top of the strength and fitness industry and across many different disciplines. The podcast really is for anyone interested in the Iron Culture. And here's a bonus, number 11 on the list, the Barbend Podcast. If you know strength sports, then you already know Barbend. They launched their podcast in the summer of 2019, and they have not looked back since. Just like everything that Barbend does, their interviews have a really professional feel to them and include a variety of guests from all the strength disciplines. They really do a great job bringing together the industry's biggest names into one show. Now, there's no doubt that we didn't include every good strength podcast in our list. That's where you, the viewer, come in. We want to know which podcast you love in the world of strength. What do you agree with on our list? What do you disagree with? What did we miss completely? Make sure to hit a comment and let us know. Also, make sure you're smashing our subscribe button on our channel. Thanks for watching.